Let me pull up my note sheet.
Wait, what are we talking about again?
I don't know.
The show, and
we're going to talk about the band. And hello and welcome back to the Tundra podcast, the podcast where the band Tundra talks about things about the band Tundra, right, guys?
There you go.
We need to have like an actual structured introduction to this.
The pit with Tundra.
The pit with Tundra, yeah. Yep. That's not a bad.
It's not that bad. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not a bad name. But hi, I am Screamy Guy Morgan, and who else do we have today?
I'm Steven, the bass.
I'm Patrick, the guitar guy.
And we do not have Mr. Drummer Lewis with us today. He is off being lame. By that I mean he's with his girlfriend's birthday party, which I guess is acceptable. But a couple weeks ago, we released our new album, Eternal, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. We've made a few episodes already of this podcast talking about some of the other songs, and we're going to talk about the songs that we haven't talked about, and also a little bit of the behind the scenes on what it was like making this record. If you would like to support the show, you can do all the YouTube algorithm things, becoming subscribed if you're not already, sharing it with any of your other friends who might like this band, who might want to know a little bit more about us. And leave comments if you have questions, stuff like that. And then if you want to go the extra mile, you can go to patreon.com/Tundra Metal Band. A few of you are already over there. It's a great way to just keep the a little bit of extra support going. Now that the record's out, we have a little bit of debt, so we need to pay off that debt. And we have some out-of-town shows this year that we would like to get to with a full tank of gas. So that would be much appreciated. So, guys, we've already talked about a couple episodes. I spent a couple episodes of this podcast talking about some of the other songs. We talked about Alone/Welcome to Hell. We talked about what else did we talk about?
Revelation.
We talked very briefly about Insane.
Oh yeah. Well,
but
but we didn't have a dedicated episode.
Okay. Are you talking about dedicated episodes?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, the other ones were Undead and Revelation. Yeah, we talked about
so
the
just
singles.
The singles. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other songs are The Pit, The Witch, Smoke and Mirrors, Hostage, 911, and You Are. We should probably spend
Insane.
Yes.
Yes,
you didn't say Insane.
I did not leave that one off on purpose. I just literally forgot to write it down. That's how we're feeling about that. So yeah, what is we'll spend a little bit of time talking about each song, but just as is right now, other than the songs we've already dedicated episodes to, what are your guys' favorite songs off of the record and why?
I mean, honestly, my favorite song off the record is probably Revelation. And I think I kind of already said why we like that song. So if you want to hear my explanation, go watch the other episode where we talk about Revelation.
Well, I know, but like of the songs we haven't talked about.
Of the songs we haven't talked about, I would say probably top two for me would be The Witch and Smoke and Mirrors. Smoke and Mirrors is more of a how would you describe it?
I mean, I guess it's kind of like a ballad, but it's not like a slow song either. It's got like a heavy riff, and it's got like a breakdown-ish style thing towards the end.
It's not screaming the entire song.
Yeah.
It mainly just the bridge, and then I do most of the singing. So I think the song is generally like just the general meaning of the song. I think it's just encouraging, just kind of just letting people know that like they're never alone, whatever they're going through, and that I do think instrumentally the song is really cool. It's got more strings in it. And the chorus, we have like the kind of choir, kind of like many people kind of singing it.
Yeah, we had a few fans join in on that.
Yes.
We did a call out a while ago and be like, hey, any fans, here's the vocal part. So you and I, between us, I think I sang like 3 or 4 vocal parts. You sang 3 or 4 vocal parts. And we had that already layered. And with a lot of reverb, that sounds cool. But then we thought, let's take it the extra mile and get some of our fans in this too. So there's like a handful of people who are in that choir section that are not in the band. They are just fans. So that was cool.
Right. And so I think I liked how that song turned out. That's a really cool one. And then The Witch is just like everybody goes crazy when we play that song, and I think the recording of it also just turned out very well.
It sounds gnarly. That's one of the
yeah.
songs that I think on the record best translates how it sounds live, because I think that's a hard balance to get, right? Like, just because something sounds good on the record doesn't mean that it translates well live, and then kind of vice versa, or like, like just because it sounds good in one avenue doesn't mean it necessarily translates the same.
I get it.
But I feel like that is the closest one. The, like, on the record, that's pretty dang close to the energy that it is live, and yeah, I think that's cool. What about you, Pat? What are of the songs that we have not dedicated episodes to? What is your maybe favorite song?
I guess funny thing is it's insane. Probably.
No way.
I'm serious. It is. It's actually probably my favorite. I the weird thing is I think why is because it's something I would write on an 8-string. I don't know why. It's just it's the groove of it though too.
Chuggy.
I love
lots and lots of triplets.
Yeah. And I love things that just groove really well. Like I listen to a lot of like Down and like those kind of bands, like just that southern kind of groove kind of stuff. So I don't know. I really like that song, and I want us to keep playing it. But
so we should let's dive a little bit into these songs before I give my perspective. We should have just gone one person at a time before I asked you, but let's finish talking about Insane.
Mm-hmm.
So Insane, as of at the time of recording this, the record's been out for 2 weeks, I think, and it's the only song on the record that's not in the top 10 on Spotify, on our top 10. It's an 11-track album. It's the only one that's not in the top 10. And we all have, it was written kind of last second. We were like, we need one more gnarly song on the record. And so it was kind of written last-ish second. I mean, that's not really true. We'll get into a little bit of the behind the scenes on making this album, but we weren't actually rushed, but I just wanted another nasty song on the record. And it was, it's no one's like favorite song on the record, I would
besides
say.
Pat.
I guess besides Patrick. But we all live, it goes really well. We've played it, I think, twice, and the energy is really good when we play it. So it's just interesting that, I think part of it for Steven is that it's just not the most interesting song. It's a lot of triplets.
It's not the most interesting
It's a lot of
song.
ones and zeros. It's a very hardcore song. So
I will say this. When you're listening to the album, you listen to, from start to end, you have Undead and Insane back to back, which is like both gnarly, stupid songs. And so I think to have those songs back to back, I think I kind of get like why Insane is the lesser of the two. It's because
maybe if they had been put in different places on the record, they would have more of a place to shine. But just between the two, Undead's maybe the better song.
Undead is the better song.
Yeah, I kind of can get behind that. So, and if you want to hear us talk about Undead, you should go check out, I think it was episode 2 of the podcast where we talked about Undead. So you could go check that out. But yeah, Insane is, and just intentionally just really dumb and heavy. And it was fun to write, I'm gonna be honest, but it is, your criticisms of it are valid.
Well, and I think the recording of it, like it sounds good.
Oh yeah, last week at practice you were like, I'm not gonna lie, Insane's growing on me.
Well, and like I would still say it's one of, if not my least favorite on the album, especially to play. But it
is a lot of ones and zeros.
Yeah, but like it is fun to listen to it. But at the same time, I do think that we just have better songs than Insane.
Yeah.
So if our fans don't really care for Insane that much, then maybe we won't play it too often. But because I mean, it's like Morgan said, it's the only song not in our top 10 as of now, at least.
Yeah, I mean, it could change. Who knows?
It could definitely change.
By the time this comes out, it'll be like number 1 or something. It's got like 100,000 plays or something. Like
no.
Yeah, it is funny though, Pat. So Patrick, for you, it's just that you like that kind of stuff. You like the triplets and the ones and zeros.
Just playing that kind of stuff. It's my wheelhouse, so to speak, where I'm most comfortable in. But I also, my other one is it's a really close tie between Insane and The Witch. Like this, I love The Witch because, in a weird way, it builds towards that last big chorus towards the end, and I don't know how to describe it, but it feels like it's building constantly, that whole song, if that makes sense.
I'm gonna take my hat off, and hopefully my hair's not too atrocious, but it's really warm in here and I'm melting. Yeah, let's talk a little bit more about The Witch. So that's another song that when we did the original demo version of Eternal, and it was just an EP, it wasn't the full record. When we did that demo, it was actually on that. So that was fall of 2020. So it's been a while. But that's a song that we've had in our repertoire for a long time. It's one of the couple songs, might be the only song now that I think about it, that we've played every single Tundra show, is The Witch. There might be a couple others, but I think that's the one song I could for sure. I feel like there might be a show or two where we didn't play Welcome to Hell. I might be misremembering, but I think that might be true. But yeah, I mean, it's so good live. The chorus is like a sing-songy. It's 3 words over and over and over again. So it's kind of we're a small enough band that we don't have like a lot of like our fans coming to shows, but like when we do, that's like the one song that I know that like I see people singing it. So that's just kind of fun.
It's also just
the breakdown's nasty, and like you said, like the last chorus, Lewis goes crazy on the drums.
Dude, he goes nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is a good one.
We all like that song too. So and it's like I think it's higher up on our top 10 at the moment.
I mean, again, I don't want to spend too much time caring about like Spotify analytics, because the record just came out.
Oh, a lot can change too.
It's not like getting like a ton of press or attention. So, it's going to take a long time for things to settle on like what the masses think are the best songs and stuff. But it is a song that all 4 of us in the band are like happy to play it. And it goes,
like you said, everyone likes it when we play it live. So it's like, we're going
well articulated.
We're going to keep playing it probably.
I guess Steven was also saying, I think it was last practice, they has no idea what The Witch is about. It's it's about lust. Broadly it's just about temptation, but it's more specifically about lust, and that's where the image of a figure of a woman in The Witch is, and how seduction is. I mean, listen, I'm a married guy.
Seduction is a woman. That's exactly what Morgan was going to say.
Hang on, no. What I was going to say is seduction in and of itself, I don't think is like inherently wrong or sinful. Like I'm a married man. I got 2 kids. All right, I'm gonna tell you right now that like, you know what I mean? Like,
no. Why don't you explain to everyone what you mean?
No, this is a family show. It's a Christian show. But like that in and of itself is not wrong. But like we've seen it in our lives. We've seen it in our friends' lives and our family members' lives, that like relationships can mess you up, and a lot of that is because of things that are driven by lust. So that's like. The song is broadly about temptations, but it's more specifically about lust. Yeah. So that's what the song's about.
I was just going to say, I think, I don't know, when with the witch, I think it can mean anything that can be really tempting to do. Like you could apply it really to almost anything that would be considered wrong. But,
yes, we're going to write all of our songs so intentionally vague that they could be about whatever you want them to be about.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
And then to back up a little bit, because I wanted to talk a little bit more about Smoke and Mirrors, since you had brought it up already. That song, you were right. You're right. It is like a more positive, uplifting song about like you're not alone in your struggles. It's written from the perspective of someone who is trying to reach out to someone they care about who is struggling with like suicidal isolation, and that's like how the song is, the perspective that it's written from, and that's a hard place to be in. I've spent time there. I know people who have spent time there, and it's hard. And it's also very different depending on which side of it you're on. So it is supposed to be one of the more uplifting songs on the record of it's a very dark record of a lot of using horror imagery and stuff to talk about dark matters. And depression is a serious thing, but it is supposed to be like hopeful in acknowledging that darkness exists, but being positive about it. But so when we do that song live, mostly because you're doing most of the singing, but also because there's a weird thing we have to do with the pedal during the song.
Oh, that song.
So between those two things, when we do the song live, I'm actually playing bass and you're singing. So I
would hate doing both at the same time, especially with messing with the pedal as much as I would. So I'm glad.
What has that been like for you though? Like, because you haven't really done that before,
right? So that's been it's been different because singing like that in a band is something I've never done before. So then we've only played Smoke and Mirrors twice now?
I think so.
And like both times it's like, if I like looking back on it, it's like I definitely feel like I have a lot of room to grow in regards of like stage presence and I guess just general confidence, just in general. But I do like that song though a lot, and I don't know. What do you think about it?
You're like from Talladega Nights. I'm not sure what to do with my hands.
Yeah,
I don't know what to do with my hands, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean it takes getting used to. I mean I know that when
and it's easier for you with the songs that you vocalize, not really sing, because you don't really sing that much in Tundra.
No.
So when you got the microphone, you're able to just kind of rock out. But this is kind of
no. I disagree. So because the fundamentals, and I'm not talking out of my butthole right now because I actually was classically trained in college. I was in jazz groups and I was in I can't even think of what it's called, bel canto, like Italian style classical singing.
Music nerd over here.
Yeah. So like I actually I'm telling you from a perspective of experience that the difference between singing and screaming is very minimal. So you're right. I am.
But no. Well, I'm saying
I am
because
rocking out and stuff, but I still have to worry about all the same things. I have to worry about my mouth shape. I have to worry about my breath support. I have to worry about all these things.
Right, but because these songs,
I'm just more used to it.
But
because I've been doing
these songs
it for
are
longer.
so much higher energy compared to Smoke and Mirrors. It's like I feel like it's like you know what to do. You know, like, okay, this is a heavier song. I'm going to rock out more. Whereas for me, this song's a little more, it's less of that.
Oh, I see.
And
what you're
so,
saying.
like, the energy is going to be a little different. So then it's like, okay, like, I guess it's just knowing what to do, I guess. And just becoming more comfortable with it as well.
Yeah. We'll keep working on it because I think at least we have a few shows on the schedule right now. We'll make sure that it's going to be in at least one of them, maybe more of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll keep working on it at practice and stuff. But I'll tell you that pedal we played it at our album release show a couple weeks ago, and I definitely messed up the pedal part because it's so simple. So basically, how it works maybe some people won't understand this even after I explain it, but we have a couple parts in the song that it goes back and forth between our guitars are tuned the way that they're tuned, and between that and we click a pedal to make the tuning different. So we have to go back and forth on that several times in the song, and if you press the button at the wrong time, this didn't happen live.
Or you miss the button.
Yeah, or you miss the button. It all of a sudden you're playing a note that's not right. So that was it's hard for me to find the balance right now between I want to rock out, right? I want to rock out because when you're doing that, it's like the quote unquote heavier parts of the song. So you want to rock out, but at the same time, I don't want to miss the button or worse. This hasn't happened either the time we played it live, but at practice it's happened where it's a knob on the pedal that tells you which note you're changing it to when you push the button. And I have had a practice before where I instead of hitting the button, I turn the knob, and then when the button's engaged, that it's a wrong note. It's not even the right note that's supposed to be. That's a nightmare. So that's going to take some getting used to. So you and I both have room to grow on that one. But it was it's a cool song. It's a different song. I'd like to do maybe more songs like that in the future. Different varieties. I think they're in hindsight, because we wrote that song like 3 years ago, that there's things about it now that I would do differently, just so it meshes better with the record. I talked to you guys about this a couple weeks ago about "You Are" as well, the last song on the record, which is like really a ballad. It's a slow kind of worshipy song, and I think it's a perfectly fine song. But just because it's been 3 years since I wrote it, looking back at I guess 4 years ago since I wrote it. Now that I have that hindsight, I'm looking at it as there are things I would do differently so that it meshed better with the vibe of the record. You know, maybe I'd make the chords more dissonant, or have it in a different key, or I don't really know. But there are maybe synth things I could have tried differently to make it mesh better. But things to keep in mind for going forward. What do you think about "You Are"? That's the album closer. It's the slow worshipy song. We've only done that one twice as well. I'll be honest, I don't care if we really do it live, because I feel like we're like deathcore adjacent, and then we have this worship song, so that's kind of awkward. But at the same time, it's like it's not a bad song either. So what do you guys think about "You Are"?
I actually really like how the song turns out, and the fact that you end the album on a positive note. I think is really good, because it's like, I mean, imagine we have this kind of darker horror themed album, and then that's just what it's like the entire album, and it just ends on a darker note. Like, I like that it ends on a positive note, and I like the song itself too, and I think we've done well whenever we've played it live. It is a more simple song instrumentally, but like vocally, it's I like it, and I think you and I have both. Well, I guess during the album release, so you didn't really sing that one, but
no, we have like a harmony that we sing for the verses, and then there's like a background thing that I sing on the bridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the album release show, it was the second. It was a long set. It was like 40. It was over 45 minutes long. It was a long set because we played the whole record and then ended with a new song that's not even on the record because it's so new. Teaser. But I was tired. So
I was too.
We've talked about before how like going forward, like songs where it's more singy instead of screamy, we need to have those towards the beginning of the set, because we get to the end of the set and we're tired.
Because when we did Revelation, which was right before You Are, at that show, I don't think it went well for either of us, but especially me, because I was doing the singing part, and that song's already very high for me. And so by the time we got to that song, I was like, oh man, like this is like, if we listened to the recording, I'm like, this did not go well. This could have been a lot better. And I think a lot of it does have to do with just the fact of how early we're doing it on the set. I think if we did it earlier on the set,
before we're tired,
before we're worn down, especially in regards to our voices, I think that song would have been a lot better live.
Yeah.
That last time, I feel like every time besides that time when we've played Revelation, I think it's been good. But I just think in that scenario, because it was a longer set and because we were all just tired, it could have been better.
Yeah, so we've talked a little bit about the album release show at this point, and that was a couple weeks ago. It was at the Booby Trap Bar in Topeka, which was only the second time we've ever played there. I think the first time we played there was Steven's.
It was my first show.
It was your first show in the band, which would have been like fall of 2021.
It was. I think it was summer. Well, it was like
whatever.
It was like August.
Something like that. Yeah. Fall, summer. But it's a dinky little place, but like the sound's decent and it's local. And I thought it went fine. We had another local band called Barrage open up for us, which we've played with them one other time. And I like the guys in the band. I think they're nice, and they put on a good show. Mm-hmm. I think as far as like other local bands, they're like maybe technically not the best match for playing with us, because they're more like like Trivium style metal.
Tonally, they're definitely different, but they are pretty good.
Oh yeah, they're really good. But
yeah.
There's other local bands that I think like sound more like us.
Yeah.
But there were a couple that just weren't available, or they didn't want to do it. Who knows? And maybe they just told me they were unavailable. But overall, I thought that they just got a new singer, Barrage, and I went to go see them play a show maybe 2 weeks before our album release show, and I just was curious how they sounded with their new singer, so I just went, and they killed it. So I was like, oh yeah, they're gonna do great at the release show, and they did.
And they did do great.
Yeah, they did great. Did you guys have any other notes about the album release show? I thought it was fun, and we had some friends and family there. We had a handful of people I didn't know there, which is always good. You want people you don't know at your shows. We had a guy come up from Wichita who interviewed us for a Facebook group that he has where he promotes Christian metal bands.
Yeah. That was nice.
Do you remember what his Facebook page is called? It's like Christian Metal Underground.
I think it's Christian Holy Metal Underground.
Holy Metal Underground.
Maybe.
So you can go. It's a group, so you actually have to join the group. But if you do that and you scroll down far enough, you can go watch that interview that he did with us. But yeah, it was like like a 20-minute thing of just talking a little bit about the band history and the new record and stuff like that. So that was kind of fun to do as well. Did you guys have any other notes about the album release show?
Maybe this is just my opinion, but the new song that we did at the end, which it's not out yet, so you don't know it. But I think it's
let's keep it vague. Let's not spoil much. You can say.
I just think it's a weird song to end on. That's it.
I mean, that's probably true.
I think it is.
It does end abruptly.
It is a good song, but I just think it's a weird one to end with. But at the same time, it made the most sense to end on that song, just because we're playing the whole album from start to end. So the fact that we threw in another song, it makes sense to just do that at the end.
Especially because it's like a teaser. Because our logic was, hey, we wanted to put this record out years ago. It's finally out. Because it took us so long to release this album, we're already well into making new music, so we're going to give you guys a little bit of a tease. We're going to give you guys a little bit of a treat since you guys came to the album release show. That was our logic, and yeah, there's not really a better place to put it than at the end. But I'm excited for that, which kind of leads into I wanted to give a little bit of background as to why it took so long to make the record. So the first half of it was written in 2020, and then the second half of it was written in like 2022. Maybe there was a little bit getting wrapped, or 2021. Maybe part of it was still getting finished in 2022 at the beginning, but it's been done for 3 years or so. And then we kept going back and forth on how we were going to get it recorded and mixed and all that. Our drummer at the time, Drew, because we can't do an episode without mentioning him.
I felt like we were doing so great. I even thought about going in. I was like, we haven't mentioned Drew once at all. And here we go. But right, continue.
But when he was still in the band, he wanted to mix it because he went to school for audio engineering and he wanted more stuff in his
didn't he
sheet.
Mix the original? Was it the original? Was it just the Pit, or did he also do the whole Eternal EP?
I mixed the Eternal EP.
But he did the Pit?
He did the Pit.
I remember.
And then he also mixed the version of Corruption that was like a standalone single. He mixed those two songs.
Oh, okay.
And then I think he mastered the acoustic version of Seasons Change.
That's a good one.
I mixed
it.
I mixed it, but he mastered it. But he was like, "Hey, can I just try it? Can I mix it?" And I was like, "Yeah, what's a realistic deadline?" And he was like, "I don't know," because I think he was like just working part-time at the time and his workload at school was like medium. So he was like, "I don't know, give me like May," I think is what he said. I think he was like, so this was 2022, I think it was 2022 that the Pit came out, because we released the Pit as like, hey, we're finally putting out the record soon.
3 years later.
But we put that out, and he like barely got it to me on time. He's like, I was like, hey, is this a realistic day for releasing The Pit? And he's like, yeah, I got it. He got to me like the day before, and I was like, I don't even know if it's going to show up on Spotify tomorrow, but it did. But like, I was like, I'm sending it in so late, I don't know if it's going to process and stuff. And I think he did great. I think The Pit, the original version of The Pit, which I think is still on streaming, and it's the version that's on the music video, which you can find on our YouTube channel.
And it's our one song that actually has over 1,000 streams on Spotify.
Yeah, as of right now it is. Yeah. I think he did a great job, but he came to me maybe like 2 weeks later, and he's like, yeah, no. He's like, I can't. He's like, I don't know. I have no idea how long it would take me to do this. And to be fair to him, there's a lot going on. There's a reason I didn't want to mix it. I mixed the original version of the EP of Eternal when it was just a demo in 2020. And I knew from that experience that I didn't want to mix the record because it was 8-string guitars and bass in the same octave, kind of. You have the double kick, so that's just a ton of low energy. And then you have like low guttural vocals that are also taking up a lot of that register. That's a lot that you have to mix and get right. Keeping in mind that most of the power in a mix actually lies in the mids and not in the lows and the highs, which is backwards to people, but that's the glue. That's what holds everything together. And you layer that in with, you got all the shenanigans of a normal metal mix, and we have some synths and stuff. So it's just like all this like stuff that like, I get it, but that's why it took so long. So then we sat on these songs for years. It was over 2 years in between Drew saying he didn't feel like he could do it. I don't want to put words in his mouth. I don't know I don't think he said he couldn't do it. I think it's just that he felt like it was too big of a project for him at the time. I think is probably a more appropriate way of phrasing that. Between that and when we signed our record deal, and we were able, through the label at Rottweiler, through that, be able to find Dakota, who has gone on to, he went on to mix our record. So it was a long gap. And at that point, I'm gonna be honest, I've learned a couple tricks about mixing, and I want to try mixing our next rext. I might mix it and be like, no, this is crap. Let someone else do it. But I've learned some stuff. I want to try mixing the next record before I pay someone else to do it. But I thought he did good. But that's why it took so long. Is it's a big project to take on. We have a lot of weird things about our music that specifically makes it. Metal itself is kind of hard to mix, but our style of metal specifically is even harder to mix. So that's the main reason it took so long. But were you guys frustrated as I was having to sit on these songs for like over 3 years?
It is weird because when I joined the band, like we had a couple songs from Wastelands that we would sometimes play, but for the most part we would just play Eternal songs or songs that would be on Eternal. And the fact that I joined the band like 4 years ago, and
yeah, almost 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah, about 4 years ago almost. And we've still been playing a lot of the same songs. So it is a little weird that we've been sitting on them so long. I'm really glad that they're out, that people can actually listen to them. And it does also make me just very excited because we already have the ball rolling on the next record. Right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
What were you gonna say, Pat?
Oh, I've been playing the songs for 2 years rather than 4 years.
You've been in the band that long?
Yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, just over 2 years.
Dang. Yeah. Okay.
His 2-year anniversary in the band was just like a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've had people say to me like, "Oh, congratulations on the record coming out," and I've said, "Thanks. I'm glad it's done." Like that's my response. Yeah. Is I'm glad it's done because I mean it really did just take so long. But as Steven alluded to, we are kind of already well into making new stuff, and now that we have the record deal, we have a couple connections on like who would do the music video, who would do the mixing. You know, we have some people we can message. We have an idea on what it's going to cost. We have, stuff like that figured out. So hopefully, once we have the ball rolling, we won't have to ever wait this long to put out music again. Especially because we've talked about maybe remixing the first album,
which I'm fine if we don't do that.
Well, I think we should. I think if there are going to be any like diehard Tundra fans, I think there should be a place where they can go listen to it, especially because I think a couple of those songs are so good. There's like the first record was so experimental that I think like half of it's like crap, but the other half I think is really good. So
I'm gonna be honest. I really don't care for Wastelands that much personally. Yeah. I think Corruption's okay, and that's about it. Like maybe Serpent Slayer's okay.
Serpent Slayer,
but like the rest of the album, I'm like Dissonance is fun, but it's dumb. So okay, so I guess besides,
what about Seasons Changed?
I like the acoustic version of it more, honestly.
Oh, okay. I gotta just talk you up to half of it so we could do like a 10-year anniversary EP, like do like a something like that. I actually met like I don't know when it is in relative. I don't know how long it is between when we're recording this and when we're releasing it, but I meant to make a post last week because it was the 5-year anniversary of Wastelands. I didn't realize it had been that long.
But I mean, most people can't even listen to Wastelands.
No, I think. Actually, you know what? I don't know where you go to listen to it. I don't know if it's anywhere anymore. There's a couple of the songs you can still find. Like we've played Corruption live, so you can go find that, videos of that on YouTube and stuff. But yeah, a lot of it you might not be able to find unless you're one of the handful of people who bought the album when it was out. But not that many people did. Some people did, but to get on to my main point of what I was trying to say is. Hopefully we'll never have to wait that long to make new music. We already, like Steven said, have one new song that we're already like practicing. We've played it once live, and we have some other like kind of things that we might put out like either maybe early next year into this year, maybe even, depending on how quick things develop. But as far as like new music, like a new record, I already have the whole thing demoed. I changed a couple things I have a few things I want to change. So I need to update the demos, but I have the whole record demoed out. But albums 1 and 2, I basically wrote entirely by myself. And I feel like the current lineup of the band is solid. I feel like I like the band as us four.
You like me.
Yeah. And I wanted to feel more involved. Like, for instance, Steven, to get you involved on Eternal, I gave you singing parts that are like barely singable for you, like almost too high for you. But now that you're like in the band, we'll just make sure that doesn't happen. We'll just make sure that when we write singing
I
parts,
can
that
sing the parts much more comfortably.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. So the plan is when we have the time is we go over the demos that I have and we build up. So we go, Patrick, Lewis too, because Lewis also plays guitar. What do you guys think of these guitar parts? How can we make them more interesting? Is the structure okay? Then from there, we can have Steven and Lewis work together, be like, all right, rhythm section. How can we, is there anything we want to have the bass do differently than the guitars? The drums, how are we going to make them fancy? And I vaguely know what I want the songs to be about, but I haven't gotten that far into writing lyrics because if we're like, hey, let's take this part of the song and put it here, I don't want to like get in the weeds of writing lyrics and then get stuff changed on me. So I know what I want songs to be about. I have a few lines written, but I'm not like that deep into it. But Steven should be involved in lyric writing now that he sings in the band. And I want Lewis involved as well because he's like a hopeless romantic poet. So I feel like he would actually have something to contribute. So that's the plan right now is the next record is going to be a lot more collaborative. It's already demoed out. I wrote the backbones of the songs, but yeah, what are you guys most excited for that process? Because we'll probably start it soon-ish, depending on some other things that we're doing behind the scenes. But
I think one, making it more collaborative. Not only will I think it'll be more interesting because you're having multiple people write it rather than just one, but also it'll just be a lot more fun for us. And like I've said, like vocally, like, well, first of all, I've never written a song before in my life, so it'll be interesting for sure. But like kind of just having more singing parts that I can actually sing, and maybe even just more. I don't know how much more clean singing we're doing on this versus Eternal or what.
That's a little up in the air. There's a couple spots in a couple songs that I'm like, this could go either way.
Okay.
We could like take it a little heavier. We could take it a little lighter. Like there's a couple spots that are, I think as is, it's about the same. But then there's also a few spots on the record that it could go either way. So it might be a little more. It might be about the same. I don't know.
So, but just being able to sing more comfortably, but also still being a part of the lyrics, I'm looking forward to. Again, I've never written the song, so I don't know how that'll go.
What about writing your own bass parts? Do you think that'll make much of a
difference? I've also never done that either. So, but I think it'll be fun. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm not saying anything I suggest will be good or will make the album, but we'll see. Maybe.
What about you, Pat? Are you excited for the more collaborative side of it?
I love writing riffs. It's so much fun. Oh yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think that finally does it for this episode. This is, I think, our longest episode, unless I don't remember how long the first episode was when we did the Meet the Band episode. But yeah, hope you guys are liking Eternal. It took us a long time, our blood, sweat, and tears, and years of saying on our hands to make this record happen. So we're happy that's finally out. Thank you to Rottweiler Records for giving us the shot. And hopefully you guys are liking it. Pick up a physical CD if you like it a lot. Otherwise, just add your favorite songs to your playlists and all that jazz. Any final thoughts about anything about Eternal, the new record?
New music 2030.
That sounds really far away, but it's not at our rate.
I'm sure we will release music.
Be 36
either
by then.
Potentially later this year or sometime next year.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, much sooner. Yeah, cool. We'll be back later. I don't know when. Well, we have some other topic ideas for other podcast episodes, and we have some other content that we'll be doing in the meantime to keep you guys entertained. We got some guitar playthroughs and stuff like that. We're going to do some drum playthroughs with Lewis. I'm sure we'll maybe do like vlogs or something. We'll find more content to keep content coming on the YouTubes and stuff like that. So reminder, support us on patreon.com/Tundra Metal Band if you want to help us out more. You can also go to our Bandcamp to buy the record or a shirt. And if you see that we are playing near you, come to one of our shows. Our handle is Tundra Metal Band as well on Facebook and Instagram. And that's the best place to keep up to date with where we're playing shows. So, yeah. That's it. Bye.